grade level centers does have the potential for an improved learning environment, but it's only one piece of a multi-layered approach to instructional improvement. There are no silver bullets. It's how things are done, making the best decisions that you can, implementing them as best as you can, and that, I mean, that's how it is for anything. Grade level centers may allow for an easier path to sustainability, but it may not generate all of the additional resources to meet all the desires of the district. We'd all like to institute a one-to-one technology program tomorrow. We'd all like to bring in foreign language. We'd all like to bring in, a lot of different things. Moving to a grade level center model does not necessarily mean that we're all suddenly going to have the money to do all of that. But it may provide an easier path to sustainability if we have some of those headwinds that we come into every now and then with external funding. There's significant opposition to the concept of grade level centers based on parent community surveys, community focus groups, social media, community organizing. There is tepid support for exploring grade level centers on the part of the staff, but significant concerns about implementation and impact. The community appears to be ready to pursue a full day camp. The community is not ready to pursue a grade level center model. And so what are my recommendations for this Board of Education? The Board of Education should continue to pursue the implementation of a full-day kindergarten program in a neighborhood school model, K-5 model, our current K-5 model, starting with the 2014-15 school year. My second recommendation is that the Board of Education not pursue the transition to a grade level school. I also make the recommendation that the Board of Education should pursue a sustained conversation with the community, with parents, with faculty and staff about how we, as a unified District 20, Roselle, Hanover Park, Bloomingdale, Keeneyville, as a unified District 20, how we can effectively ensure that the district provides and sustains quality education where all of our students leave the elementary setting having mastered the skills necessary to be successful in the middle school. They all end up here. They all need to be on the same page. And where all of our students leaving here go to a park and they are ready for what they need to be at high school, because then when they leave high school, they're ready for college and career, because ultimately that is the only thing that matters. I believe that this conversation is a very important one. I also believe that the conversation needs to be broad-based. I think we need to be able to talk about and have a discussion about what are the best ways to meet the goals that this board has already set. Because I think this board, as it has reviewed the mission and vision of this district, has set some very attainable but very lofty goals that we need to be moving forward to. And I think we need to, as a community, really come together to make a determination as to how the best pathway to doing that is. In terms of how we utilize our resources, in terms of how we organize our resources, and many of those things. And so, in terms of what I would invite the board to discuss at this point, because this ends the formal presentation, is to really have you kind of just ask any questions that you might have, and just kind of have some discussion at this point about your thoughts about what I just presented. With that, I'll turn it over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Dr. Connolly. Appreciate you very much for your report. It's a good report. I appreciate it. We have a lot of pages to read. But some of it was excellent. Does the board have any questions, comments?
Still can't hear you. Take it off.
In answer to your first question, it was actually never my intention to write this.
Excuse me, could you repeat the questions? We couldn't hear.
Yeah, sure, I'm sorry. The question was that in the parent community survey as it originally was put out, each IP address, so in other words, a household that only had one computer, they were able to take the survey once and then they were locked out because it was, and when that was brought to my attention in one of the focus groups, I went in to SurveyMonkey, which is the platform that the survey was hosted on, and actually turned that option off so that that any one computer could make multiple, somebody could answer on one computer multiple times. It was actually never my state's intention to not allow for one IP address to be able to register multiple responses. The reason being that I understood that there may be households where there was only one internet-capable device that the survey could be done at, or if there were parents that were coming in to take the survey, curriculum might be the case may be, those computers would be used more than once. In fact, I know at Greenberg's curriculum night, you guys had a problem with that, where everything kept crashing. Well, unbeknownst to me, what I didn't know was that it certainly is a default to have lockdown. And so it was never my intention. And so when it was brought to my attention, I corrected that. Now, in terms of whether or not multiple responses were the same individual answering that survey over and over again, number one, just in terms of the numbers of survey responses, I didn't see such a huge spike in the number of responses that would make me think that there was somebody that was just answering it over and over again. That's the first thing. The second thing is that in terms of true validity, research validity standards, this survey was never designed to have that kind of protection. So unlike like the 5 Essential survey that was done in the spring, the University of Chicago had 150 pages of research protocols that they were following all these different metrics and making sure that if there were repeated responses coming through, that they would be able to detect that and filter those things out. That was never the intention here. It really was the intention to try and gain, in some ways like you would do polling, to try and gain a snapshot of what people were thinking and feeling. So that's really why it was opened up to the way it was. Any other questions?
I know you said in one of your earlier slides that the percentage of people who were for a full-day kindergarten might be skewed because they were under the impression they were going to go with the grade level centers. Will there be like a new survey to be that?
I certainly can do that. Yes.
Where they'll know like the K through 5
Yeah.
that they're for that.
Yeah, I mean, if the board would like me to do that, I can certainly, introduce a new survey that isn't just the full-day kindergarten and has nothing to do with grade level centers. What I would say is that I wouldn't open that survey immediately. What I want to do is make sure some of the word kind of gets out that, based on the conversation that you're having now. Because, by the way, I've given giving you recommendations, you all need to talk about what it is that you have to do. So, sorry, I'm self-facing this one there for a moment. So, I mean, we can certainly do that. That would not be